He Church Without Politics movement is here with another musical release with great joy and satisfaction. This time it's a single with an impactful message, a single of their own composition. We're here with the movement's president, Pastor Daniel Batista. Pastor, I'd like you to explain the title of the song. Why the title, The Mark of the Beast?
The mark of the beast, a term not many grasp in its eschatological depth. In biblical eschatology, the Antichrist is a political figure working within a governmental system and structure that is supranational, forming a world order. His mark, 666, represents a systemic ideology. Serving his interests, it should function and integrate into society completely. To accomplish the goals of dominance and geopolitics through revolutionary means. What are the top 3 factors in this list? Religion, politics, and industry. Their aim was to build this governmental framework, to allocate these roles so that later, with a more modern perspective on outcomes, they could begin using political and economic sanctions until they achieved humanity's enslavement, until they fully subordinated it in a totalitarian manner. So, with a modern perspective, on this revolutionary era division, we now have the UN. And the interest in technocracy or digital governance in this digital era has 2 main focuses: the integration of humanity and global management. So this is the significance of the brand, the beast. This government is not mystical, not esoteric, and not symbolic, but functional.
Pastor, I'd like you to talk about the message of the song, what the movement wants to convey, what message the movement wants to convey with this song, and how this theme relates to politics.
Well, this plan to create a supranational structure around this geopolitical dominance led by the UN today wouldn't be possible without the church's help. And this political religious idea, now what's happening now is because they introduced this through Protestantism, the idea in the church that God is in politics and rules for men. So it's a way to draw society's attention of humanity with hope that someone will always rise up there for God, for power to do something that really defends society's interests. But from the beginning, this theocracy, this concept, had the objective and interest of generating this structure. So this concept generated this institutional pyramid today. It operates today, financed precisely by people who think like that. Not just this misconception that God is in politics, no. Even that God is in the country. Didn't that occur in the United States? Protestantism caused that there, but they still acknowledge it, support it. This dominance, already American political control, which is now the UN standard, humanity will pay a steep price for this mindset. We're not very religiously involved with politics, this relationship and this extreme political thinking. Because the main idea is that politics serves a good, which indeed is a good. There is freedom, there is democracy, there is a homeland, but deep down there is only one power. These diplomatic divisions, this concept of states and everything else, all of this is a cynical scenario of structures. We recorded the Digital Age DVD, and one of the things I was most impressed by in investigating it was exactly that. How they managed to introduce this fantasy, this naivety into humanity, to believe that the Constitution really works for these interests, aimed at freedom. Deep down, these laws fail. What truly works is force, influence, and directing revenue to these states. In that modern and ultimate vision, it becomes evident that this new world order will be introduced and formalized through chaos, which they will establish globally, causing states to lose power and autonomy and governance. Thus, this power shift to the UN officially on a global scale will result from demonstrated incapacity of management and political power within the states, We are already in the midst of this process. People are currently calling for a world leader, and they are also calling for a world government. Many political figures in this country are frequently making such appeals. So we are right there at the brink of this happening, precisely due to these factors. Therefore, the political religious system has been extremely important for today, to have this structure in place and for everything that is planned for the destiny of humanity to take place. And they continue making appeals. Someone will rise, someone will come, the Antichrist.
Pastor, what message would you give the church on this topic?
Well, comprehending the significance of this political pastor's involvement in the global scenario we're describing here is crucial. When we begin discussing the church and Protestantism, what reality are we referring to? That these three components of religion collaborated towards this objective: Catholicism, Protestant Christianity, and Islam. Everything there functions as a clamp of the same power, despite the differing doctrines. All right? How does it feel for someone unaware of that to find out? Because she spent all her time upholding a tradition, investing in it, financing a tradition that was aiding the rise of this Antichrist in humanity. Do you get what I'm saying? So the church today pays a high price for wanting to adhere to traditions, for allowing an institution to control your conscience. In the biblical faith, it is shaped by Christ, not by an institution. You get it? So they put in people's minds to trust in their leader and their institution. The same approach was taken with humanity's relationship to the state. This institutional bond with the church was the key to all this control. So nowadays we have a programmed conscience, a conscience of Christian beliefs, shaped, crafted, given authority by a tradition. And the one who wrote this was the order itself, an atheist, communist order, but which passed itself off as Christian. In other words, the Antichrist is evangelical, he is Protestant, just as he is Catholic, just as he is Islamist. He controls the entire religious system. So that's the problem with the church today, letting itself be led by this leadership, letting its conscience be controlled by these traditional influences and not consulting what is written in the Bible. Make an effort to understand what has been documented and recorded by Christ.
Pastor, now let's talk about the cover of the song. The impact starts with the cover of the song. I'd like the pastor to talk about it and what it means.
Let's go. This depicts the replacement of men by machines. So what is the scheme? It's to have humanity controlled by machines, a kind of cybernetic regime, a totalitarian state that in fact will control everything that people are in existence, as well as what they consume, as well as everything that concerns their personal identity. So I would definitely say that this numerical regime is essentially just an order for the digitization of everything that exists around us. So everything that today represents humanity, existence, and need is stored inside a database, digitized and controlled by a cybernetic state. Therefore, we can say that in the future, if someone says, oh, I'm going to desire my freedom back, I'm going to want my right back, the state will respond, no, you're not. Not anymore. So the mark of the beast, as I said, isn't symbolically important, but ideologically, not mystically, but functionally, we're just moving towards this machine already governed by it, lacking freedom since everything we do is monitored and catalogued our whole lives. In the future, this, with the UN's 2030-2050 agenda, shows even control over DNA genetics, artificial insemination. Until then, these individuals will choose eye color, skin tone, who arrives, who exists, who cannot exist. That's the future. So, the mark of the beast, with a functional and systematic nature, controls all existence and everything necessary for survival. When the prophecy states it's the number of a man, it means ideological. So, What is his authority? No one exists there. No rights, no. Political existence, okay. If you're not in a database today, the internet, without it, you can't access anything. Some countries have digital currency. Where was the rural man's autonomy? In planting or harvesting? What autonomy do we have today in this digitalized world? We live in an era that's fully integrated and controlled. That's the truth. Many people worry the mark of the beast is a tattoo on their heads. But there's no such concern. It's not the Antichrist. It's not about identifying him, but about knowing who supports him and who will be subordinate to him. In a prophetic sense, the Antichrist is market pressure. It's market pressure and imposition. Without a mark, no one buys, sells, or has economic construction or political freedom. It must exist in a digital database. That's the reality we want everyone to understand. Wake up, because this is the reality. So, what's our way out of all this? Don't get attached to anything. Don't rely on it, because when we must give it up to keep our faith and conscience with Christ, we must choose between rights and everything. War or slavery. That's reality. So what's our escape? The escape for the church, for Christians? Don't hold on to anything. Because when he must, leave it to keep his integrity. His confession with Christ, his integrity, his obedience to the word, they won't enjoy the luxury of pursuing these rights, these constitutional freedoms. This will be a privilege only for those who truly conform to the new order, the new concepts. Then a scheme starts to form. You see, the church is still listening today, right? It's listening there. We need someone there. Our leaders to prevent totalitarianism. Totalitarianism is coming. This communist foundation will dominate. And they will insist. Do you understand that the church submits to this new regime and rejects it? Reject the faith, reject Christ for this world religion. So we're reaching that point now, ladies. It's a critical time for the movement to spread this message, because I believe we are among the few who speak up, right? I haven't found anyone else saying what we say here, but regardless, we're confident it will help someone over there on the other side.
Now we're here with the movement's vice president, Presbyter Jose Luis. Presbyter, what are the movement's goals for this music project?
Well, there are three. Key characteristics or main objectives we have. The first is to express our rejection, our outrage, our refusal to accept what the religious political movement has done with the name of Christ and his church, using Christ's name and cause for events or situations he neither determined nor authorized. This is the first. The second point would be to capture the attention of those who cherish the cause of Christ and wish to defend it. We invite them to join us in spreading this message, this understanding that faith is governed by an authority, that there is an entire system organized by Christ. It is crucial to understand how this faith manifests in individuals, distinct from politics and separate from the state. And the third point, which is equally significant, is to emphasize the portrayal of a political Jesus that's been crafted, that has been produced by the leadership. And help these people grasp the idea that this is heading towards establishing and bringing about what will eventually become an effective government of the Antichrist. It is crucial for people who wish to combat this to have the ability to do so by gaining knowledge and understanding through biblical teachings. We invite everyone to join us in this important mission and purpose.
Presbyter, could you explain the resources used by the movement for these musical productions, and if there are any sponsors involved?
Well, you see, there are absolutely no sponsors involved here. We don't have that kind of support. And everything that the movement produces, all that it dedicates itself to doing and working towards, is achieved with its own resources and the dedication and commitment of its own members. So truly, there are no sponsors whatsoever. If anyone is interested in helping out in some way to finance this work, they can simply visit our website at igreyjazzandpolitica.org.
There on the site, they will find detailed instructions if they are interested in contributing.
What about elders? How can people access or acquire this music?
Good question.
Well, first of all, it's crucial to let everyone watching Vamos Acompañar know that all the movement's content, including the songs, is freely accessible. We don't charge for this, it's our commitment. There are two ways to access the songs. First, through our YouTube channel, Igreja Politica, or via the most popular digital streaming platforms. I won't list them all here, but I know, for instance, Spotify and Amazon Music are included, but the others also have this possibility. And here's a tip, an invitation to all of you, right? Get access to this awareness, which is important because the songs express what the movement stands for, right? And also help us spread the word, which is extremely important, and we're sure it's Christ's cause, which is the most important thing of all.